Rosa Luxemburg, the Red Rose of Revolution. Rosa Luxemburg was a revolutionary who believed in the power of ideas, the strength of the working class, and the possibility of a fairer world. Born in 1871 in Zamość, Poland, Luxemburg's life was a testament to courage, intellect, and unwavering commitment to social justice. As a leader in the international socialist movement, she challenged not just the political systems of her time, but also the strategies of her own comrades, carving out a unique legacy in the history of revolution. Who was Rosa Luxemburg? Rosa grew up in a Jewish family in Russian-controlled Poland, a place where oppression was deeply entrenched. From a young age, she showed remarkable intelligence and a rebellious spirit. At just 16, she joined a socialist movement, dedicating herself to fighting for workers' rights and against authoritarian rule. Her activism forced her to flee to Switzerland, where she studied philosophy, history, and economics. Luxemburg's sharp mind and fiery personality quickly made her a prominent figure in socialist circles. She earned a doctorate in economics, an impressive feat for a woman at the time, and began publishing works that critiqued capitalism and imperialism. Her intellect was matched by her courage. She wasn't afraid to challenge anyone, whether it was the ruling elite or her own comrades. What made Luxemburg's ideas so revolutionary? Luxemburg believed that true socialism could only come from the collective action of the working class. Unlike some socialists who favored gradual reform or a centralized party leading to revolution, she insisted that change had to be driven from below. She famously wrote, "Freedom is always the freedom of those who think differently." This belief in grassroots democracy set her apart from other revolutionaries of her time. One of Luxemburg's most important contributions was her critique of imperialism. In her book, The Accumulation of Capital, she argued that capitalism relied on constant expansion, exploiting colonies and weaker nations to survive. This idea would later influence anti-colonial movements and critiques of global capitalism. How did Luxemburg become involved in German politics? In the early 20th century, Luxemburg moved to Germany, where she became a leading figure in the Social Democratic Party, SPD. At the time, the SPD was Europe's largest socialist party, but Luxemburg often found herself at odds with its leadership. When the party supported Germany's entry into World War I, she was outraged. She saw the war as a conflict fueled by capitalist greed, with workers from different nations forced to kill each other for the benefit of the ruling class. In response, Luxemburg co-founded the Spartacus League, a revolutionary socialist group dedicated to ending the war and overthrowing the German monarchy. Her activism led to multiple arrests, and she spent much of the war in prison. Even behind bars, she continued to write, producing some of her most powerful works, including the Junius pamphlet, in which she condemned the war and called for international solidarity among workers. What was Luxemburg's role in the German Revolution? In 1918, as World War I came to an end, Germany was in turmoil. Workers and soldiers were rising up against the monarchy, demanding an end to the war and the establishment of a republic. Luxemburg saw this as a moment of opportunity. She and her comrades in the Spartacus League called for a socialist revolution, believing that the time had come for workers to seize power. However, the revolution was chaotic, and the socialist movement was deeply divided. Luxemburg opposed the Bolsheviks' authoritarian approach in Russia, insisting that democracy was essential for socialism to succeed. Her commitment to these principles often put her at odds with other revolutionaries, but she refused to compromise her beliefs. What happened to Rosa Luxemburg? In January 1919, the Spartacus League led an uprising in Berlin, known as the Spartacist Revolt. The revolt was crushed by the government, which had called in right-wing paramilitary forces known as the Freikorps. Luxemburg was arrested during the chaos. On January 15, 1919, she was brutally murdered by her captors, her body thrown into a canal. Her death was a devastating loss to the socialist movement, but her ideas lived on. Luxemburg's writings and speeches continued to inspire generations of activists, from anti-fascists in the 1930s to feminists and anti-capitalists in the 21st century.